We've been having some technical difficulties this afternoon. Hey, we've got snow chances on the way for both Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. The question is, how much are we going to get? That's key. And there's really several different parts to this forecast as we really break down what you can expect this weekend. I'm 5 News Chief Meteorologist Matt Sandridge. Is a busy next couple of days. We try to forecast how much of the white stuff are we going to get. I think this is going to be our best chance for accumulating snow that honestly we've had so far this season. We've made a 3-tier system for you, kind of to indicate how much snow we're getting. I'll be honest, when we're trying to talk exact accumulation, we're staying away from that for the first couple of days. I think by tomorrow we'll be close enough to the event where we really are looking at some new fresh data, and we'll have some accumulation maps for you. I know we're talking a little bit right now, but this map really kind of indicates where we're headed the next couple of days. Northern half of Arkansas and really the northern third, we've got a solid chance for maybe a couple of inches, especially in the higher terrain areas, Boston Mountains, and then into all of Northwest Arkansas, the metros, and then east into Madison, Carroll County, Mountain Home, and then even east towards Jonesboro, Monette, Northeast Arkansas. We're included on this to get maybe a couple inches, maybe kind of turn it into a winter storm for us. Now towards the south, once you hit I-40, including all the River Valley, and then into parts of central Arkansas, Little Rock, Conway, and then back east towards Memphis, we've got about a medium chance in order to get some accumulation. When we're saying accumulation, we're really talking about maybe a dusting or so, maybe up to an inch. We'll have to see. Farther towards the south, it's going to be harder to get it to accumulate. However, I think a lot of us, in fact, even if you're not colored in on the map, maybe you've got some friends and family towards El Dorado and Texarkana, even though we're not talking about much in terms of accumulation, we are probably expecting some snowflakes to swirl around. Just really depends on how quickly we can transition from rain eventually over to snow. This is all coming in on Saturday. Enjoy the next couple of days. Look pretty nice and warm. Right now we've got some high-level clouds. We have a beautiful sunset taking place across both Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, with the sun setting in that western sky where it's clear, and then we've got the clouds right above us. Beautiful sight. But let's expand the view. We're not here to talk so much about the sunset, but our snow coming in this weekend. The storm itself is over the Pacific Ocean, and this is kind of interesting. When we're trying to diagnose these storms, we need to take a look at what's happening now where the storm is, and then where it will go. We're basically following the storm. Well, the storm is still over the Pacific Ocean. We're still limited on how many observations we can get. Once this thing actually makes landfall, which is starting to do, we'll have a better idea of what's going on, and we can really diagnose the information. Even for our models that we have, it really takes better observation data once it moves over land. Of course, we don't have a million buoys out here, but sure, we've got a lot of observation points in western the U.S. and western Canada. It's about to make that transition over to land, and that's really going to help us the next couple of days as we forecast this next storm. What's going to happen is, as this makes landfall, it's going to be picked up by the jet stream, maybe carried into southern portions of Canada, into parts of British Columbia, Alberta. But then once it hits the Canadian plains, it's going to start to dive south in a hurry, making its way into eastern Montana and into the Dakotas, and then eventually right into Arkansas. How much snow we're expecting? I think really for Northwest Arkansas. So we're talking about Boston Mountains, honestly anywhere from about Mountainburg, Winslow, north into Greenland, Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, Bentonville, Bella Vista, and then west towards Salem Springs. I think a lot of us could at least try to get a dusting, maybe a couple inches as well. In the River Valley, the question is, how soon will we be able to turn over to snow? I do think we're going to see some snow in the River Valley, but how much will we get? How much is it going to stick? Maybe a dusting or so. We're not going to see that transition until a little bit later in the day from rain eventually over to snow. In eastern Oklahoma, we may have a higher chance for a little bit of snow just because we don't have as many of the Boston Mountains blocking the cold air. Sometimes we can get colder in Sallisaw before we can get colder in Fort Smith and Van Buren. We'll be watching that closely. But this is our best chance for accumulating snow that we've really had so far this season. So far, we're not talking about major snowfall totals here, but maybe enough to at least cover the ground for many of us. So this is Saturday into the morning, 11 o'clock. So we've already woken up. We're starting our weekend. I think we're going to have a lot of boring rain showers across most of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. We may get some of these patches of snow, which is kind of this dark blue, purple color, in the Boston Mountains in the higher terrain areas, and then parts of southwest Missouri. But the pink shows you some of that sleet, and eventually over time, that rain snow line will start to dive south. I think after lunchtime on Saturday, we'll make that transition over to some snow in Northwest Arkansas, and eventually later into the afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock, we'll slowly and gradually make that transition from rain to sleet to eventually snow as well. But notice, towards the north, we've been in the snow band for a while. It may take us a little bit longer in the River Valley to make that transition, but after sunset, I think we're all going to cool off enough, and we'll have snow reporting from Bentonville into Fort Smith, south and east towards Little Rock as well. And then eventually this whole thing will start to move east across the Mississippi River and then get out of here. So Saturday's the day to watch. We've got a mix of rain and snow on the way. It's going to be a dreary day. However, no matter what you get in terms of precipitation, it's going to get cold. That's what we know for sure. It's not going to get cold like February, last year in 2021, but we are going to get cold for a couple days, but we're going to get a quick glancing burst of some snow, I think, Saturday afternoon. We'll start off with rain showers. The temperatures are still trying to cool down over time, and then we'll have some snow showers and flurries later into the afternoon. In the River Valley, we'll also have that chance. We'll also be cooling down into the 30s, but once we can get back towards 20s, we're in snow mode for a while into the evening. Also, a couple other things to note. It's going to be hard to treat the roads because we're starting with rain. And so if they do throw salt or anything out on the roadway, some of it may try to wash away a little bit. We're not talking about heavy rain in the morning, but light showers. So the effectiveness may start to go down. So by the time we do switch over to snow or maybe some sleet and then maybe even flash freezing overnight and from Saturday night and into early Sunday morning, there could be some slick spots. So just keep that in mind. But this is our best chance of accumulating snow we've had so far this season. And once again, it comes in on Saturday. Every evening, probably between 5 and 6, we're going to have more updates and be able to kind of just discuss what we're talking about and what we're expecting come by this weekend. But until then, enjoy the sunshine and enjoy the 60s.